Hey guys, it's Star the Flippin' Hippo. Thank you for joining us on our YouTube channel at Flippin' Hippos, and welcome to episode 3 of Back to Basics. In the first episode of the series, we talked about getting your reselling business started for little to no money. Well, now you've got all this inventory, what are you going to do with it? You've got to decide which platform you want to list your items on to sell. So today, I'm going to go over the pros and the cons of 4 of the most popular platforms for resellers to flip on: eBay, Posh, Boxery, and Amazon. Let's get started with eBay. eBay is really friendly for the small sellers. They are very popular. They get a lot of traffic. Everybody's heard about eBay. Tons of people go to eBay every single day to shop. So you're going to get a lot of eyes on your items. eBay is also international, so you can sell internationally or overseas, and then you have 2 choices when you do that. You can do the shipping yourself, or you can use their global shipping program, which is my next pro for eBay. The global shipping program is amazing. With the click of a button, your items are now available to international buyers to purchase, but you only have to ship it to Kentucky. So you're shipping it just like you would any other shipment in the United States. Once it gets to eBay's headquarters in Kentucky, they take care of all the customs forms for you and shipping it overseas. It has a small con to it though. Apparently, when you use the global shipping program, the fees to your buyers are a little bit higher to get the shipping overseas than if you do it yourself. But it's still a pro because you're only worried about shipping to Kentucky and you're not dealing with the headaches of customs forms. And that would just have to be a decision you make for yourself. But the ability to sell internationally is there. So eBay is worldwide. It's global. You have so many people looking at your stuff. And of course, that means that you can sell more and make more money. eBay gives you a shipping discount, so you get commercial rates on shipping, and your discount that you get gets bigger the bigger you get. So when you first sign up with eBay and you start selling, you're going to get commercial rates and a discount. And then as you work your way up to top rated seller, you get a bigger discount and save more money. When you open a store on eBay, when you get to the point where you're listing enough every month and paying per listing that it makes more sense to pay one-time monthly store fee and you open a store with them, you get a coupon every quarter that you get to use for free eBay branded shipping supplies. You get control over your store as far as you can create categories and separate your items. You can run sales, and the sales are great because you can run markdowns like 25% off or 10% off. And you can do like buy one, get one free, buy 3, get 25% off. The options are vast. There's a lot of different types of sales you can run, and you have total control over that when you have a store. And then of course you can do promoted listings where you pay an extra percentage of your sale to get your item boosted in the searches. eBay has also recently rolled out their offers to watchers, which is very similar to the offers to likers on Posh. And while it's a great thing that they finally introduced this to us and we can do offers to watchers, it's still a very limited system, and it's very limited on how many you can send out. And on eBay, you can sell anything. Now, within reason. You're obviously not going to be able to sell guns. You can't sell people. You can't sell body parts or animals or bootleg items or knockoffs. But using common sense and what's legal to sell online, you can sell anything. You can sell clothes, you can sell hard goods, boats, cars, car parts, toys, Star Wars, Disney, any brand, any type of item that you want to sell. There is no restriction. You can sell anything you want, and it can also be in any condition. You can sell clothing that is damaged as long as you disclose it and show pictures of it. You can sell broken electronics for parts or repair. So your choices of what you could sell on eBay are really big. There's no gating like Amazon has. There's no restrictions other than, you know, staying within the legality of what you're allowed to sell. But you can have any kind of item you want in any kind of condition. And that is amazing because, as you're going to see as we go down the list, other people have restrictions and what you can list is kind of limited. So the customer service at eBay may not be the best customer service in the world, but they are easy to get a hold of and they are always there. If you pick up a phone to call eBay, there will be somebody on the other side. If you get on Facebook and you go to the Facebook eBay for Business Facebook page and send them a message, they get back to you within a day or two. So while the customer service isn't that great, it's there. It's available. You'll always be able to get someone on the other end of the line to help you with your problem. The con to their customer service is you get a lot of conflicting information. It's almost as if every single customer service rep that works for eBay was trained differently and was given a different handbook. You can get different answers on the same day from different reps. That is a problem, but at least you can get someone on the horn. So let's go over some of the other cons. You have to pay upfront for your listings until you get a store, and then you pay a store fee and you get X amount of listings depending on what store you get, and then you're paying per listing after that. So you have to pay per listing in addition to the fees. That's in addition. So you have your eBay fees, your final value fees, as well as paying per listing. And that's kind of a con because other platforms don't do that. Listing is very tedious. It's probably one of the hardest. It is. Let's not even say probably. eBay is the most time-consuming, tedious, and hardest platforms to list on. They have a lot of information they want you to fill out. I mean, you can skip it, but time and again, you're going to hear resellers telling you the more you fill out, the better off you are. And they just have a lot of information, and the back end of a listing is like, oh my gosh. They do not have a system in place where there's an instant payment. By that I mean if they get an auction from you or send a best offer to you that you accept, or they accept your best offer, they don't have a payment method on file. So it's not paid for. So it sits kind of like in limbo and you're waiting for your payment. And if they go, too long, you can open an unpaid item case and then they get a week to pay. And then if they don't pay after a week, they get a ding. I don't really think the dings mean anything. And then you're allowed to relist your item. So essentially, when they don't pay for an item that they have accepted an offer on or bought through auction, they can take it off of the market for up to a week while it sits in limbo. They never pay for it. You end up relisting it and paying to relist it again. And it maybe would have sold in that week that it was, in limbo. So that's like a really big con. I don't like that. Like, I feel like if they're going to bid on an auction or do an offer, they should have a payment method online so that when you accept the offer or the auction ends, boom, it's paid for, you can ship it out. But that's not how it is. And you, like I said, your item can sit for up to 7 days and you end up relisting it and paying again. I also think buyers abuse that and kind of like put things on layaway. And then the returns are high. Returns are high on eBay. Even if you have a policy of no returns on your listings, you're still going to get returns. They're going to force them on you. Unfortunately, the buyers on eBay have learned the system. They've learned how to do the items not as described and force returns back on you, even when it's not an item not as described. If it's buyer's remorse, they'll do whatever they can to give it back to you and get their money back if they don't want it. And that's unfortunate. It happens. And then, they encourage you to have free returns. So if you have those on, you're going to get more returns also. So let's move on to Posh. Poshmark is free to list. They take a fee out at the sale time, but you don't pay per listing like you do on eBay. You can list as much as you want in your closet, and you don't pay anything until it sells. The rates are higher though. It's 20% on Posh. But on the other hand of that, you get higher prices on eBay. You can sell things for more money, and people will pay more money or higher prices on Poshmark for your items. The buyers pay for the shipping on Poshmark, so you don't have to figure out if you want to do free or paid shipping. And then if you do free, figure out the cost. They pay for the shipping. They pay $6.49, I believe it is. And that's for up to 5 pounds. So that's a deal Poshmark worked out with the postal office, and you don't have to worry about it. It's super easy. It's also super easy to list on Poshmark, especially if you're cross-posting and you're just taking your pictures and information from eBay over to Poshmark. But I feel like even if you're listing from scratch, listing on Poshmark is so much easier. It's got a lot less hoops to jump through and boxes to check and things to fill in. Poshmark is also fair to the buyer and the seller, where eBay is more buyer biased. It's like eBay will always side with the buyer, and a lot of sellers feel like we're losing our seller protection over there. Poshmark's system, I feel like, is set up to be more fair. It's more equal for both the buyer and the seller. The buyers on Poshmark are a lot more eager to give you feedback. You get 5 stars regularly, and I feel like they give you love notes more often. I just feel like the buyers on Poshmark give you higher ratings and more likely to give you higher ratings and feedback than they are on eBay. And then additionally, the way the payment works on Poshmark, it isn't instant. They do hold your money until delivery, so you have to wait 3 days after delivery to get your money, or until the buyer reviews the item. So once it's delivered, they have 3 days to give you a review. Once they do, your money's released and you can ask for it to be transferred to your bank, or at the end of 3 days, if they haven't given a review, Poshmark automatically accepts it for them and releases your funds. But in the event that they send you an offer, or you send them an offer that they accept, it is considered paid for and you can ship it out. So there's no accepting an offer on Posh and then sitting around and waiting for payment for a week and having to open the case. No, if they accept the offer, it's paid for, you can ship it out, and then you got, 3 days after delivery until you get your money. So that's kind of a pro and a con, being that you don't get your money until after it's delivered. And on eBay, when they do pay immediately, it's like right in your PayPal. But then once something is done through an offer, it's considered sold. I like that. eBay and Poshmark both have a system for recognizing you when you're really active on the platform. On eBay, it's being top rated seller. On Poshmark, it's being an ambassador. And the fees are so much easier to figure out on Poshmark. The minute somebody buys something, or even just sends you an offer, or you try to send an offer to them, that comes up with a little screen that shows you your price, the discount you're offering, your fees, any shipping discounts you offered, and the amount of money that you made. It's like so easy. You could sit there and change your offer over and over and over again, and your bottom line will keep changing along with that. So it always will show you what your overall profit is going to be, minus your cost of goods, because obviously Posh doesn't know that. But they'll take out any offer you're offering or shipping discounts and give you your bottom line profit. The biggest con of Poshmark, everyone knows, is it's a social platform. It is very time consuming. You have to share your closet. You have to share other people's closets. And it takes time. It takes time to share your closet. It takes time to share other people, to be social, to follow other people, and it can be tedious for a lot of folks. Posh is a much smaller platform, so it has less eyeballs on it, and additionally, it's very limited on what you can list there. While you can list anything in the world on eBay, Poshmark is strictly only for clothes, shoes, accessories, and makeup. That's the only things you can list on Poshmark. Everything else is prohibited. On the plus side, though, the platform is growing in popularity. Its buyers and its sellers are growing every single day. So it is getting more and more eyeballs on it every day. And because I said it's a con that you can only list clothes and accessories there, but that can also be a pro, because anyone just shopping for clothing going to Poshmark is more likely to buy your clothing. Really, really hard to get a hold of customer service through Posh. I've heard a lot of horror stories where people are writing in. I don't even think there's a phone number for them, honestly. They're just really hard to get a hold of and get help when you need it. There's no messaging system, so you can't message your buyers or your potential buyers, and they can't message you. On each listing at the bottom, there's a place for comments. And any questions they want to ask you about the item goes right there. Any bad thing they want to say about you or the item goes right there for the whole public world to see. I don't like that. I'd rather have a messaging system in place, but on the other hand, kind of a pro, because if you didn't have a particular detail or measurement in your listing and someone asked you for that right there in those comments and you answered them, then everyone else moving forward can see what you answered and know that that's what the answer is to that question, and you only have to answer that question one time instead of several times if you had a private messaging system. Another con, you'll hear this, the buyers on Poshmark have a certain expectation for the way packages should look. I think that is going away a little bit. When we first started on Posh, you heard stories of people wrapping them like gifts almost. Like you would send them wrapped in ribbons and bows and thank you letters and sparkly unicorn farts and all this stuff. And people would get literally bad reviews if they just shipped an item like in a polymailer. Like people would give them bad reviews because you didn't include my unicorn farts. But I think that people, because it's a growing platform and there's more and more people on there that don't gift wrap every special thing, the expectation for that is going away, I think. We simply just put ours in tissue paper and a business card. I write on the back of it. I handwrite on the back of it, thank you. And we haven't had any complaints. So that may have been something in the past when Poshmark was like a smaller platform and maybe people back then were just selling their own items out of their closets that they didn't want anymore. But come on, if you're a volume seller, you do not have time to do all that. And I did mention that their fees are higher, but you get more from the buyer anyway. So if you're selling your items at a higher price, the higher fee doesn't really matter. I feel like 9 times out of 10 you're making more money on Poshmark than you would have on eBay, and worst case scenario you're making the same even with the higher fees because of the whole they're paying shipping and you're getting more money. All right, let's move on to Mercari. We don't do so well at Mercari, and I think that's our fault. Like we don't pay as much attention to it as we do the other platforms, and I think any of them are going to need attention if you want to sell stuff. Maybe not Amazon so much, but Mercari, Posh, and eBay definitely need attention if you want to sell. So Mercari is also free to list. You can list as much as you want. There's like a limit. You can only list 100 items when you're new, and that gets lifted as time goes on and you make more sales. But you can list as much as you want and you don't pay a fee to list. They just take the fee out after you sell. It also, like Poshmark, super easy to list on, super easy to cross post to. The shipping there, you have to pick whether you want free shipping or them to pay for it. They also just rolled out offers to likers on their platform. So now you can send offers there as well. So you're kind of in control of when you want to run a flash sale. The biggest pro for Mercari and Posh both, I didn't mention this on Posh, is no returns. No returns. I can't believe I forgot to mention that for Posh. That's like the biggest plus. All sales on Poshmark and Mercari are final, with the exception of the obvious item not as described. If they order a Nike running suit from you and you send them Reebok, of course, you're going to have to take it back. But as far as buyer's remorse, collar, size, fit, all of that doesn't matter. They can't return it. Poshmark and Mercari, all sales final. Mercari is also fair for both the buyer and the seller. They are also pro small buyers. They do have a messaging system in place, and they also have the payment system set up very similar to Poshmark. If they send you an offer and you accept it, it's considered paid for. You ship it out. You ship your items out, and after 3 days, the money is released. Mercari kind of has a system in place to recognize the active sellers. They have badges they give you for fast response time, fast shipping, and they, these little badges you get. And they also figure out the fees for you in the little window when you do offers. Mercari has a lot less eyes on it. This is a con. We're moving into the cons. It's probably, like, as far as platforms go, not as popular as Poshmark. Obviously not as big or as popular as eBay. But Mercari is also growing. The popularity of Mercari is also growing, and I think that's because a lot of sellers were getting fed up with a lot of stuff on eBay, and everyone was starting to cross post. So you're going to see these smaller platforms get more popular, but they do have less eyeballs over there. But you can list anything you want. So it's kind of like an eBay. You can list whatever in any condition. Their customer service is a nightmare. I have heard nothing but bad things about them. Personally, I've never dealt with them. I've never had a need to go to customer service reps on Mercari, but I have heard that they are near impossible to get a hold of and just like are not helpful at all when and if they ever get back to you. And then they do have a system where you can promote your items, where you mark down the price, and they'll notify anyone who ever liked it that the price lowered, but you're only allowed to do 10 a day. And that leads us to Amazon. Keith and I have just recently branched out to Amazon. We're still pretty new at it, so I can just give you a few pros and cons that we've already encountered or we were warned about. We actually take all of our Amazon advice from Jamie Pace. Many of you know him as the Thai guy, but he also does really, really well on Amazon with media and like electronics and stuff like that. And we took a lot of advice from him before we started. Amazon is also free to list. You just make your listing and they don't take any money from you until it sells. You don't pay to list there. There is a commercial rate for the shipping. Super easy to list. As far as making a listing, Amazon is the easiest. It's super duper so easy to list on Amazon. But they are buyer biased like you would not believe. They are worse than eBay. In Amazon's eyes, the buyer is 100% always right no matter what, and the seller is always wrong no matter what. We hear a lot of stories, even from Jamie. If a buyer says anything on Amazon, they pretty much just take their word for it. There are A to Z cases you can open to fight back, but kind of like eBay, you're probably not going to win. Amazon has a lot of eyeballs on it though. Amazon is as popular as eBay. Everybody knows about Amazon. Everybody shops on Amazon. Half the world has Amazon Prime and goes there for all of their needs. So you're going to get a lot of eyes, but Amazon is really pro big box stores and not so much small sellers. And you are just going to be one of the crowd. You're not going to get a store. You don't get to name your closet. There's no recognition for you for being active or selling a lot. You are just one of the crowd. If you list this Yeti microphone, you're just going to show up as one of the Yeti microphones in the list, and you're just a nobody. You're just one of the few. That's so extreme that like if you ask like lay people outside of the reselling community if they even knew that small sellers sold on Amazon, most of them don't know that. They think that it's all big box stores on Amazon. There is a premium that you could pay $40 on Amazon to give you more bonuses. I know you get like a bigger shipping discount and other, I think you can run sales. We are not paying that $40 premium yet. We are nowhere near getting to that point yet. That brings me to my next point. The reason we're not is because we're building very, very slow. This was advice that we took from Jamie. Because they're so buyer biased on Amazon, if you're small and you just started out and you don't have the feedback and the amount of sales and the reputation to back you up, one mistake and you can be suspended off of Amazon for life. For life. One mistake and it's over. So you want to build small. I'm just going to give that piece of advice. I would not recommend listing anything that has a high potential for returns or scams until you've built yourself up that you could absorb a claim put on you. Start with small media. We started with like D&D books and stuff like that. Just start with small media and try to stay away from things that have a high rate of return or a high scam until you've built your store up. Because if you're new and you have no reputation, one buyer, one mistake, you're done. One of the other biggest cons on Amazon is like everything is gated. It's like you can't sell anything. There's a lot of veteran sellers on Amazon that got grandfathered in and they can sell stuff. But if you're new and you're just getting started on there, oh my gosh, everything is gated. Not everything. Obviously, you can sell some stuff, but it feels like it's everything. And then the majority of the gated stuff will never become ungated for you. The stuff you can get ungated, you have to jump through hoops and it's a mess. So that you're very limited on what you can sell there. And everything has to be new and everything has to be in really good condition. You can't sell used clothing on Amazon. and things have to be perfect. We know someone who told us they sell shoes and they get new shoes in the box, but if the box even has a single dent in it or a crease, they can't list it on Amazon. They have to put it on eBay. So those are the biggest cons of Amazon. I feel like, just to me, just because we're just getting started and maybe because of all the stories that I hear about it, I'm kind of like wary of Amazon, and I feel like it has way more cons than pros, and that's just my opinion. And I feel like they're really unfriendly for small sellers. It's really pro big box. They do have readily available customer service though. It's easy to get a hold of them. They're just not going to ever side with you. So those are the pros and the cons of the 4 big ones. There are tons of other platforms out there, guys. There's Grailed for men's clothing. You guys have probably heard of Depop. You can sell on Instagram. You can sell on Facebook Marketplace. You can sell on Craigslist, local sales. There's all kinds of places online that you can sell. And there's many, many, many more platforms I haven't touched upon. I just wanted to do the most popular. And I do want to give out an honorary mention to 2 platforms. Etsy. Etsy is a big platform for anyone that does crafts and sells vintage items. Unfortunately, I'm not a crafty person and we don't really get into the vintage yet. So we don't sell on Etsy, and because I don't have any experience selling on Etsy, I'm not comfortable giving you any pros and cons because I don't have any experience in it. But I do want to mention it that if you are a crafty person or you sell vintage, Etsy is a really good platform for you. And then the other honorary mention is Bonanza. Bonanza is a really small time platform. We sell maybe 1 item a month on there, but you literally go in and take a couple minutes to set it up at the beginning, to sync with your eBay, and you never have to work on it again. That's it. You go in, you fill out some forms, you do some stuff, you sync it to your eBay, and it's like a set it and forget it. You walk away, you never think about it again until you make a sale and you got to go in and print out your label. It's that easy. So even though you don't make a lot of sales on Bonanza, it's kind of like a no-brainer. Like, why wouldn't you set it up? Why wouldn't you sync it to your eBay? Because every little extra sale is just extra money and it takes like no effort. So I do have a video on how to set up your Bonanza and sync it to your eBay. It takes a couple of minutes. I will link that video down below. Before I let you guys go, I would like to mention one thing just for the new resellers. This is for you guys. You're going to hear me on this channel a lot say, don't put all your eggs in one basket, diversify, 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 and cross-post. You're going to hear me preaching that a lot, that I really feel like people should be diversifying, cross-posting, getting all these multiple streams of income coming in. That's more for the veterans than the seasoned sellers. You guys that are brand new should just focus on one thing at a time as you grow. When you're brand new, if you stretch yourself too thin, you're going to get so super stressed out and you're not going to be able to keep up with stuff. So I would suggest, my advice is to just start with one platform, get to know that platform really well. You don't have to be an expert, but just get really good at it. Just get really, really good at one platform. Get a really good inventory system in place. That is really important. And then branch out. And go to your second platform and start cross-posting over there. Get to be really, really good at that platform and then branch out to another one. But I wouldn't suggest when you're brand new just jumping in with both feet head first. Oh my gosh, I'm going to go on all the platforms. It's going to be way too much for you. It's going to be a lot of stress. And if you're new and you don't have a good inventory system in place yet, you're going to end up losing items and having things sell on Poshmark when they've already sold on eBay. It's just going to be a mess. So please just take my advice. And when you hear me all the time saying, oh, everybody needs to diversify and everybody needs to cross-post, I'm not talking to you if you're new. Just do one thing at a time and build yourself up. And a year from now, you might be on all the platforms and have your own YouTube channel and do affiliate links. But just take it slow and learn one thing at a time and get good at that before you add more to your plate. You guys, if I missed any pros or cons in my list here, feel free to add them below for everyone else to read and learn from. If you have any questions, or want more information on anything I've mentioned, put it down below and I'll get to you guys. I'll answer your questions. And don't be afraid to share whatever thoughts you have. A lot of people read the comments too, so we can all learn from those as much as we can learn from me talking at ya. Do me a favor before you leave and smash the like button if you would. If you haven't already and you'd like to, please subscribe to our channel and help us feed a hungry hippo. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We are at Flippin' Hippos. Until next time, you guys have a good night.